What's up guys, Brett from Ozminis here. We get a lot of questions on how to install certain parts on these bikes, so we're going to do a YouTube series and explain how to do a lot of these part installs. What's up guys, in today's video I'm going to show you how to install a toolbar kit on your CRF110. So a toolbar kit's pretty self-explanatory. There's a couple little bits and bobs that you guys will need to know, which I'll go through. So it's just swapping out the handlebars, the throttle cable, the brake cable, new grips and a shorty lever. So you first start by disassembling all this, which I won't bore you with, so here's our toolbar kit. We sell them for all bikes, TDR, KLX, CRF, carby model and fuel injected. Here's your extended throttle cable, extended brake cable, grips with the grip glue, billet alloy throttle tube and our Ozminis mini cross bars, which also come with a selection of different coloured bar pads which you can select on our site. We've got like gold, red, blue, orange, green, so yeah. Let's get to installing this thing. So when installing the extended front brake cable, we always start down the bottom. So we slip the OEM spring over, and we get this in a little eyelet down here. And then we get the spring down, slip that in there like that. That goes through. We get this little nut, can be fiddly sometimes, but we get that screwed on. We have this adjusted all the way to the top, so we have maximum free play up the other end to slip the cable in, which is usually a problem when trying to install cables. Second tip, when pulling the throttle assembly apart, it comes with a little white guide inside here. We definitely want to keep this. Back in the day when these first came out, it was a trend to get rid of these because it made the throttle smoother, but the billet aluminium throttle tubes that we've made make it smooth as butter with this guide. The most difficult part of installing this toolbar kit is the throttle cable. The reason it's difficult is because it's got a couple of solid ends down here and they need to fit through tight little nooks and crannies, but I'm going to show you a trick that we do here at Ozminis. So here's the little tip for installing the throttle cable. We take these two bolts out, make sure to sit them back in, and we get that out of the way. Then we loosen off the bolts from here. And we disconnect this one and pull it out. I find the easiest way is to, once everything's disconnected, we pull it back through this way. It should come out nice and easy. And now, with our replacement extended cable, we're going to try and go back up in the same way. So this is what makes all the difference when installing this extended throttle cable. So once that coil pack's removed, we stick this straight through here to our little gap up here. And it's as simple as feeding that through there. Make sure we get it through this frame bit here. If you haven't taken off that little ignition pack, this can be quite the difficult job. But there you have it, nice and easy. So we're just going to snug these up now. We really don't need to do these up tight at all. We just want to get them just snug. If you go a bit too hard, we're always at risk of snapping them, so we'll just snug these up. Snuggle-duggled. So I'm just finishing off the mounting of the handlebars. These are 12 Newton meters. Beautiful. So we've got our cable installed, connected to both ends of the new billet throttle tube, and this white guide sits in there, which guides and has a little bit of lubrication on there for smooth throttle forward and backwards. So I'll just give you the nice and smooth like that. Then we slip that over, and we get our screws and we chuck them in. So we get our Phillips head screws, screw them in. It's also good practice to turn and check and make sure that it doesn't stick on with all turning angles of the front wheel. So, and then to adjust this, it's just a simple 2 bolts up here. We'll just wind that out a little bit, keep feeling the free play till we get to about 1 or 2 mil. Then we can lock that off with a 10 mil nut, and then we slide that back over. Beautiful. Nice smooth throttle. So now we're going to install the brake lever. I'm trying to separate these little tip for you. If they're locked, grab 1 set of pliers on that, 1 set of pliers on that, and just crack the seal. And that's a simple way to get them nice and freed up so you can line them up to stretch the cable through. So then we grab our brake cable, stick it in there, and if all goes well, this should just slip on right in. Boom, just like that. And the final thing to do is to mount it to the bar. Nothing too strenuous here. I'm just gonna nip these up. And then we get that at the desired height. I like running mine in line with my arms, so we'll set that there. Nip that up. And then once our front wheel's on, that's when we can play with the adjustment. Now the final part of this toolbar kit is reinstalling your kill switch. It doesn't really matter where you have it on the handlebars. For the most part, I like to run them, tuck them up here, and it sits on a little bit of an angle, but everything's sort of ergonomically good sitting right there all together as one. So you can pretty much put them anywhere you want on the bars, but that's where we run them here at Ozminis. All right, so next stage of the toolbar kit, we're going to install our grips. So get yourself some grip glue and sort of just give yourself a nice little layer. Try not to get this stuff on your hand, it sucks to get it off. So I like to spin them forward just to circulate the glue. You'll catch an air pocket there, I can feel it. You obviously won't be able to tell via the camera, but there's a little bit of air in there, so I kind of just lift it up and push it forward and squeeze the air out. Get air nice and straight, and then leave that for 4 or 5 hours and that'll be set. Same with the other side, just a bit of grip glue, give it a nice layer. And then we slide her on. Twisting motion to get the glue spread around nicely. And there hasn't been too much of an air grab there, so have a feel, make sure they feel exactly the same. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you install a toolbar kit. The final thing I will do is chuck the wheel on and show you how we adjust the brakes. Okay, so we'll test the brakes now with no adjustment. You can feel that it's gripping it grips right at the end. So we're going to loosen the 12mm nut down there. We 12 mils runoff as usual. Okay, so this is a frequently asked question of ours. You can always adjust the brakes up at the handlebar end, but this is the place that we adjust it first, so that then you don't have to, out on the trails, carry a 12 mil on you. So the rest of the adjustment can be done just like any other lever, adjusting it up here. So, but it's always nice to have this wound all the way in and that maxed out down the bottom. So then you can have your free play if it gets a bit spongy on a ride. Other than that, we chuck the front plate back on and jump on her and she's ready to rip. Just a final thing I forgot to mention, guys, chuck your cable clamps back on. The OEM ones are reusable, so don't forget to chuck those bad boys back on. Just for nice ergonomics, nice and smooth, so the cable doesn't get caught on anything while you're riding. And that, guys, is how we install a toolbar kit on a 2019 plus CRF110. We have toolbar kits for all models, TDR, KLX, CRF. The links will be down in the description to each of those parts as well. So, and if you can, drop a like and subscribe and keep up to date with all the videos we're going to make on these. Cheers.